Anyone got a pencil? Hello and welcome to the Mixtape podcast. I'm your host, Mark Phillips, and every week I'll be asking my guests to make up a mixtape. I'll ask them for a title and 5 tracks. Track 1, what's your intro? What's your attention grabber? What's going to be the song that's going to pull me in and make me want to listen to the rest of your tape? Track 2, what's a song that you sing loud and proud when you're on your own in the car or the shower? Track 3, I'm going to ask them to get a little bit obscure and pick maybe a B-side or an album track. Track 4, pick a song that you would like to have played to your 18-year-old self. And track 5, pick a song that you would put on your mixtape to let the listener know you're romantically interested. Due to the music being licensed content, you will have to click into the description of the podcast to hear the songs my guests pick on the accompanying Spotify playlist. Don't forget to smash the follow button or the plus sign and you'll be notified every time there's a new episode. Thanks for listening and I hope you enjoy this chat. Hello and welcome to another mixtape. Now, last week on the show, you will have heard me chatting to Tim Dorney from 90s indie legends Flowered Up and Republica. So this week, at the risk of looking like I'm trying to carve out a niche for a show dedicated to 90s indie keyboard players, I'm delighted to welcome keyboard player from 90s indie legends Inspiral Carpets, Mr. Clint Boon. How are you, mate?
I'm great, Mark. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks, mate. Very well, thanks. Now, you're bringing your Greatest Hits tour to the Rosemount Hotel in Perth later this month, 28th and 29th of July. I think the 29th is sold out and there's only a few left for the 28th. So get along, oztix.com.au. You might get lucky and snag a few of those last tickets. Now, Clint, the last time you toured Australia was 30 years ago, 1993. And from what I could find from my very extensive interview research, you only played Adelaide and Canberra on that tour. Can you remember if that was the case or what, if any, are your sort of memories of that tour, mate?
I think we must have been a couple of times. I'm sure on one occasion when we visited, we definitely did 6 cities, including Perth, Canberra, Sydney. We did. So I think maybe we did a shorter version of a tour. I can't remember all the details. I remember it being a great country to tour, though. We had some good memories. Sure. I mean, not only, the landscape and the weather was great from what I can remember, but the people are good because they get our humour. I mean, like the USA was always a great place to tour. Fantastic experience. But I don't think the Americans always understood our humour. I mean, you guys are just like us, aren't you? So you get every. But your humour is as dry as ours is. I'm saying that. I know you're British, aren't you? But the Australian people totally get the British humour, which makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. And during that tour, for people who aren't aware, Noel Gallagher famously roadied for Inspiral Carpets back in the day. Was Noel on that tour with you?
I'm sure he would have been. Yeah, did you say it was 93?
Yeah, 93, mate, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have still been with us at that point. Again, I should have checked my diary to see, but I was still in touch with Noel. I was with Noel a couple of weeks ago. I was with him for some time in the afternoon. I do a radio show in Manchester for a station called XS Manchester.
Yeah.
And Noel came in to see me. We had an hour together and it was just really lovely. But every time I interview him for the radio, he's always very, very complimentary about that period of his life and about the Inspirals and, how happy he was working with us and how stress-free it was for him compared to what was coming next when he went off and joined his brother's band. But yeah, it's always great to see the Gallaghers. I get on great with both of them. And, as I said, fortunately, I'm still in touch with them both. And I've got some great memories of happy days together on the road.
Cool. We'll come back to them a bit later on because I've got a quick fire 5 questions a bit later on and they're involved in that. So this time around, Clint, how do you roll when you're on tour? Will you be taking advantage and getting out and about while you're on tour and seeing the sights, or are you sort of more of a sound check and chill sort of guy?
I think we'd be fools not to take the opportunity to do some sightseeing and, meet some people. I think in the past, it was very exciting at the beginning when we started touring at the end of the 80s, early 90s. But I think, I remember myself getting into that rut of just sitting in a hotel all afternoon and, not going out, visiting the sights of Berlin or whatever. So, yeah, I think this time we'll be doing more sightseeing. And our bass player now is my son Oscar. He's just turned 19. He's Inspiral's bass player now. So he's going to be with us. So I like the idea of getting him out of bed and out into the cities and have a look round, take some photographs, send some postcards.
You've got a whole weekend in Perth, so I'm sure you'll find plenty to do, mate. There's Perth's come on so much in the last even sort of 13 years I've been living here. It's changed dramatically. Really? The landscape and the foreshore and the stadium and everything else is unreal. So
we've got friends in various parts of Australia that are going to hook up with us and show us the local best bars and stuff like that. So looking forward to it. It's going to be a really nice trip because I think it's fair to say all of us in the band, well, the three core members that are still in the band, me, Stephen and Graham, we've spent the last few years thinking this will never happen again for the Inspiral Carpets.
Yeah.
So for it to come about so quickly and suddenly, and here we are, we're just on a UK tour that was phenomenal. The reception for the UK gigs so far has been some of the best reviews we've ever had, and we feel that as a band we're playing better than we've ever played. We're singing great. So suddenly we're in the middle of it all, and here we are off to Australia. Getting on aeroplanes again, which I just didn't think that was going to happen to this band.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to be back. Really is good to be back.
It's always quite difficult for a Perth music lover because we do get passed over a fair bit when bands come to Australia. They tend to stick to the eastern states. But I've noticed myself over the last year or so, the amount of gigs that are coming to Perth, like I'm skint every month, Clint, because I'm just spending money on gig tickets, like left, right, and centre. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So what's changed? Is it just the promoters are being more dynamic in their approach? I mean, we're coming over with Fraser from Metropolis. So he's the one who's pieced together this tour, and he's the one who would have said Perth as an option. So is it the promoters that are getting more proactive, or is it just that there's more bands coming to Australia? And
it's more the bands are coming, and obviously a lot was postponed during COVID, so a lot of those are coming up, and that's sort of contributing to like the sort of glut of gigs and stuff that we've got at the moment. But we've got the new venue now. The RAC Arena is the big arena in Perth. That's massive. I think that holds, I don't know, 15,000 or something like that, 12,000 odd. So that's a brand new or 5 or 6 year old venue maybe. So that's a really good sort of feather in the cap. We've got the stadium as well now. Noel played at the stadium when he supported U2. I think he was here last. So that we've got better venues in Perth now as well, better infrastructure as well, and that goes a long way towards people being more attracted to coming and playing here. Okay, the record you're touring is the complete singles. That's a 3-disc CD with 2 bonus discs of remixes and collaborations with likes of John Cooper Clarke and Marquis Smith. Those remixes, Clint, were they done specifically for the album, or were they sort of ones you already had knocking around that were sort of B-sides and bonus tracks and stuff like that?
Yeah, they're all the remixes. Well, pretty much. I mean, there's a couple of new ones. I'll tell you about those in a moment. But most of the remixes on that 3rd disc are remixes from back in the day, back at the end of the 80s and the early 90s, when in Britain, doing a remix of a single was the norm. It was a way of selling extra copies of the single, because you'd release a single on a 7-inch, you do a 12-inch version, you do a cassette version, and then the week after you could release a remix of it, and all those formats counted towards the chart result. So it's something that bands did through necessity, really, to try and get a better chart result. But in the process, it became a recognised format on its own. The idea of a remix, it was quite new at that moment in time, especially to guitar bands. And we embraced it. We were fans of the dance music. We'd hang out at the Hacienda. So the idea of a lot of these fledgling dance acts, because at the time when 808 State did the Joe record, they produced Joe for us. I don't even think they were called 808 State at that point, or they might have just been a new band. Justin Robertson, when he did a remix, he was an up-and-coming DJ producer in Manchester. Paul Van Dyke did something for us, I think, at some point early in his career. Forge Masters. There's just a lot of bands or artists or outfits that have become quite iconic over the years, and we were just lucky to capture them at that moment in time when they were available. They were on our doorstep. They knew how to do a remix, and they didn't charge a lot of money. 60 quid a time or something. I can't remember what they charged, but yeah, it was remix culture back then was a big thing. We decided to put that 3rd disc in with the new album just to give people a taster of those remixes.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's 2 new remixes on there. One's by the Go Team.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, they've done a remix of This How It Feels, which I personally love. But it's one of those, I think some people probably won't get it, but I think it's a brilliant piece of work.
They really put their sound on that remix, because I remember listening to the Go Team like back in the day. I saw them on Jules Holland one time, and I was like, wow. When I listened to that Go Team remix, it really like sounded like that. If you hadn't have told me it was a Go Team, I would have known it was them. You know, it was like that.
Yeah. But it's also like, to me, I'm a massive fan of Joe Meek's work, and listening to that Go Team remix, it sounds like Joe Meek's in the room with them. To me, it's like definitely got that spirit to it. The other remix is so Martin Walsh, who our bass player, technically still the band's bass player, but not touring now. He doesn't want to tour. He does remixing with a friend of his, and they've done a remix of. I think it's Track Changes that they've done a remix of. So even though Martin's not in the band, not touring on with the bass, he's still very much part of the business, and he's put together that remix. And the album in general, you know, the complete singles, the idea was we put a compilation out, every single with both singers, because obviously Stephen was the original singer, then Tom took over in 89. Tom left in 2011, Stephen came back in. So the idea of doing every single with both singers in totally chronological order is something that we've not done before. And I think if you get a chance to listen to it in that running order, it's a great story of the band. It's a story of a band from a completely different angle than you'd normally get the story. Yeah, it's the story of the band through the singles that we chose to release. And when I first listened to it through, which would have been a few months ago, we got test pressings, as you do, to listen to, make sure that everything sounds okay. And I sat and listened to it, you know, in its, you know, start to finish, and it was just like, wow, what a body of work, you know. That a lot of you'll realise when you listen to it, if you don't already know it, there's a lot of facets to the band's sound and style. You know, even though the organ's omnipresent, the farfisa, there's a lot of variety in what we do. You know, some of it is typical baggy Manchester, but then you've got a waltz. Biggest Horizon's a waltz. Sorry, the Biggest Mountain. You know, we've got the collaborations with Mark Smith and John Cooper Clarke. Those were singles. They weren't just quirky little, you know, B-sides. They were singles that we put out. So yeah, I think when you listen to the singles in the, you know, the order that we put them out on, it's a great story. You know, I hope people will think that when they listen to it.
I wanted to talk to you about the vinyl as well, mate. I'm a big vinyl collector, and I can see just over your shoulder there, you're in the same boat as me. Now, I was initially really intrigued to read that the vinyl has been pressed on midnight licorice coloured vinyl. I initially thought, oh, I wonder what that looks like, and then the penny dropped, and I was like, what a brilliantly Mancunian sort of thing to do. A bit of a sarcastic piss take. Do you know what I mean? No nonsense, no frilly sort of, you know, embellishments. Just boom, straight up black vinyl. That's what you get. Yeah. But calling it like midnight licorice was absolutely superb. Are you not a fan of the sort of the colour variants and stuff like
that? Personally, I'd rather have black vinyl, because I do believe, and I've read in the past, that it does technically sound better. I don't know if that's. I'm guessing a vinyl expert purist would probably agree that, you know, the black is a better sound. But you know, the band, we've done coloured releases recently. Some of the we've been releasing like new issues of Beast Inside and Revenge of the Goldfish, Developing. All these studio albums have been released over recent years, like on the 25th anniversary or 30th anniversary or whatever. And some of those we've done on coloured vinyl. When we came to do the greatest hits or the complete singles, because vinyl's so popular now and the pressing plants are struggling to keep up with demand, there wasn't as many options for colours. And it meant if we'd wanted it on purple vinyl, we might have had to wait another couple of months for it to be done. Black vinyl was the one we could get quick. So we just went for the black, for the easy option, and give it a cool name, Midnight Licorice. That's how it came about. But yeah, I mean, I've got coloured vinyl. I do buy vinyl that's coloured, but given the option, I'd always said just make it black, keep it simple.
And I'd imagine as well, being a musician and a record collector in the era and the location that you were and are, I imagine there's some absolute nuggets in that IKEA storage over your shoulder there. Some real cracking vinyl. I bet you've got tucked away there.
Well, yeah, I mean that's some of my collection, but I've got in my basement, I've got a far greater collection, and yeah, there's some stuff in there that's quite valuable. You stumble upon it and you think, God, that's probably worth a lot of money now, you know. And some of it I can't even remember where I got it from. You know, I found a 12-inch Warsaw's album. You know that Joy Division has Warsaw.
Yeah.
I found an album of that recently that I've got in my collection. I can't remember where I got it from.
Wow.
I still love vinyl and still go out, you know, shopping for it when I can when I've got a bit of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But charity shops particularly great to find, you know, great pieces of stuff. Yeah, I've got some good stuff, and I cherish it. I'm not a very materialistic person, but I think some of my records are some of my favourite things, really.
Same. Likewise.
I still buy it, and you know, I mean, I do buy brand new. You know, like some of the classics that weren't in my collection. I bought them over recent years on, you know, just modern repressings.
Mm-hmm.
Sound great, sound amazing. And I started listening to jazz on vinyl in the last probably about 5 years ago. I started having a listen to jazz, and not as bad as I thought it was.
Well, I can tell you, mate. There's tons of record shops in Perth.
Right,
they do reissues and original pressings as well. There's heaps of them knocking around, so I'm sure you'll find plenty to look at when you get over here.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's press on with the mixtape portion then, Clint. So this is where I ask you to make an imaginary mixtape and give it a title and pick 5 tracks.
Let's call it Boon's Tunes.
Boon's Tunes, love it. And for track 1, Clint, I ask you to pick an intro track, like an attention grabber, that's going to make me want to listen to the rest of your tape.
The first one that came to mind, because it's one of my favourite intros of all time, and it's instantly recognisable, and it's iconic, and it's definitive of its genre. At the Hop, down in the Juniors.
Brilliant choice.
Cool piano
intro.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Look, I've got a 7-inch of it, and the B-side is a track called "Rock and Roll Is Here to Stay." And it's pretty much the same track, but with different words. They obviously found a formula and stuck with it.
Yeah, they're quite efficient, I think, back in the day with their songwriting formulas.
Yeah. You know, the clapping song, Shirley Ellis.
Yep.
6'9", the groove strength wide. Mm-hmm. So that was a great big hit single. Me and my wife bought a CD a few years ago of Shirley Ellis's greatest hits, or best of Shirley Ellis. And every track's like the clapping song, but slightly different words. You know, it's like, the record company probably said, just keep doing that song and we'll tweak it.
Yeah, I'll get lynched for saying this, but that's probably AC/DC's back catalogue as well. I'll cut that. I'm definitely cutting that out. I'll never get on the radio in Australia again.
You'll end up dead, man.
Okay. For track 2, Clint, I ask you to pick a song that you sing loudly and proudly when you're on your own in the car or the shower.
Yeah, but that If I Can Dream, Elvis Presley.
Love a bit of Elvis. Yeah, my dad was a massive Elvis fan.
Yeah, I've grown up. He's been the one consistent love, you know, in my music taste from my earliest memories. You know, I was born in '59, so from the mid-'60s, you know, I can remember listening to music in the, you know, 64, 65 onwards. And Elvis had just always been there, and he's always been, you know, my biggest love, really.
Yeah.
But that particular track is stunning. It's have you seen it in the film? The original, it was the NBC TV special that he did it, where he was a white suit. Well, you know the new Elvis film that came out with
yeah.
If you get a chance to watch that, you can replicate it. Now he's got the white suit on. It's just a beautiful song. I mean, even just thinking about it now makes me get goosebumps. You know, it's that great.
Yeah.
So that's my shower or car.
I can't go past an Elvis record now, because I find them a lot in charity shops and that around Perth. And my dad was a massive Elvis fan, and ever since he passed away, I can't go past one. I have to pick it up. I've got about 200 Elvis singles, I think, in my collection. Love that. Good choice, mate. Okay, now for track 3 on your mixtape, I ask you to get a little bit obscure, something, maybe a B-side or an album track or something like that.
I'm going to go for an Inspirals one here. And this comes up in conversation a lot, because it's one of our biggest songs, and it was never a single. And it's like when we do it in the set, even now when we do it in the live set, it's just, you can see the effects it has on the crowd. It's quite mesmerising, and it's Sackville by the Inspiral Carpets.
Oh yeah.
So it was an album track. I think it was the closing track on the first album, Live. And I think the fact that we didn't release it as a single was probably a testament to how good our songwriting was at the point. We were putting out songs like this out, Feels and Move and Joe, She Comes in the Fall. This was from that same period. And when I listen back to it, it's just one of the greatest songs. I mean, I wrote it, so it's, you know, I can't be objective about it, but I think it's one of the greatest records we made, and it's a beautiful bit of songwriting. Even again, I wrote that in my 20s,
Yeah,
and in my 60s, listening back to it, I just think what an amazing bit of songwriting it is.
Mhm.
And I think most Inspiral Carpets fans would agree that it probably should have been a single at some point in its life. But as it is, it's still there. It's part of our story. It's a great record, Sackville, Inspiral Carpets.
Yeah. If you could go back, Clint, would you put it out as a single, or do you like it how it is, like as a sort of, you know, a little bit of a obscure one?
I don't really regret everything we did, all the decisions we made. But like, if we hadn't put this out, it feels out as a single, would we have had the same journey?
Mm.
So I think putting this out, it feels out, give us a relevance at that moment in time that opened a lot of doors for what came later.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sackville might have done the same. It might have elevated us even more. I don't regret that it didn't come out. I'm just sort of contemplating what might have been if it had been a single. Yeah, it's still there. It'll always be there, and it's a great, as I said, it's a great testament to the strength of the kind of band we were at the time. That a bunch of young lads from a working class background could put a record out like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now for track 4, Clint, I ask you to pick a song that you wish you could played to your 18-year-old self.
Right, this one, a bit of an easy one, this, and I've gone for do you know the Lottery Winners?
They're a new band, yeah. I've been trying to get them on the podcast for ages. Yeah.
They are amazing. They're from just outside Manchester. Incredible songwriters, and they're the most industrious band you will ever meet. I've never met a band that work as hard as they do to do what they do. And on the new album, they've done a track called "Letter to Myself," and it features Frank Turner. Frank's on it as well.
Oh, yeah. He's coming to Perth soon as well, yeah.
Oh, really? Right. He's a star as well.
Yeah.
But "Letter to Myself," it's literally Tom, the singer of the Lottery Winners, and he's written a letter to his younger self. And it says everything that you'd want to say to yourself. But there's like one line in it, really, the first time I heard it, I just laughed out loud. It's "Go easy on your parents, they don't know what they're doing." As a parent, you think you know what you're doing, but when you think back, you don't, especially in those early years when you're raising your first couple of toddlers, and you think you know what you're doing, but you don't know what you're doing. So that's
all
typical. We're all winging it. Yeah, that's typical of the sentiment of the song. But I'd tell anybody to buy that new album by the Lottery Winners. If you like it, visit the back catalogue and get in with them, because I just think they could be one of the biggest bands in the world on the trajectory that I could see them going on.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, for track 5, Clint, I ask you to pick a song that you would put on your mixtape to let the listener know that you're romantically interested.
Yeah, this is a song that I did like when me and my wife started seeing each other. It was a song that resonated with us both. And I'm not sure about the sentiment of the whole song because there's some quite dark aspects to it. But the punchline, sometimes when I look deep in your eyes, I swear I can see your soul. So sometimes by James, I think that line alone is like.
I love that track. Played that on the show last week. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great track, isn't it? Like I said, there's all sorts of disastrous sort of imagery in the song, but that is just loving it in that line. Yeah. Sometimes when I look deep in your eyes, I swear I can see your soul.
No, it's a beautiful track, that, for sure. What I like about that, I like songs like that have got lyrics like that. Just they're the ones that stick out. Do you know what I mean? They catch you.
Yeah, it's a beautiful record. And I do a lot of DJing, and it's pretty fair to say that every single DJ set I play James sometimes in the.
What you got coming up after this tour, Clint? Have you got anything else happening? Have you got any plans after that?
We've got a few more British gigs, and then one gig in Spain. But generally, with the band, we're going to keep it going now. We've got this is. Mm-hmm. We're not going to overdo it. We could end up gigging every weekend in Britain, but we're not going to do that because that'd cheapen it and take away the magic. So we're going to look at probably getting out to the other countries that we used to visit a lot. Like the States. We used to go to the States every year. Canada, South America, Argentina. I've been to Argentina like 3 or 4 times. So now it's like a good time to get back down there. Japan, obviously. So we're going to do that. Hopefully keep it going with some international work. And then there's every chance that we're going to start putting new music together soon as well.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Right.
We've not planned it. We've had the conversation. We're up for it. We just need to work out how and when we're going to put it together. But there will be, I think it's fair to say there will be some new music at some point in the next year or so.
Brilliant. Love to hear that. Always love to hear that.
On a personal level, I'm still on the radio 5 days a week. I do the drive time show for Excess Manchester. Still DJing a lot. Usually at a weekend, I'll do 3, 4, 5 DJ sets over the weekend. And we've just relaunched Mrs. Boon's Tea Parties, which is a bit of an institution in the northwest of England.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot going on in the Boon House, and I've been our Oscar on the bass
involved
in the band. Just like it's just a great year for this family. You know, busy and a bit of a mess. Is like because of the cake business relaunch and because of the band being back together. Everywhere you look, there's like flight cases or big boxes of cake related stuff. It's just it's a bit of a madhouse, but no, we're loving it. We're absolutely loving it.
Awesome. Okay, just to round it out, Clint. Quick fire 5. So 1-word answers. I'll give you 2 choices. You don't have to give them any context.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. Gravy or curry sauce?
Curry sauce.
Ben Sherman or Fred Perry?
Fred Perry.
Noel or Liam? Sorry, mate.
I'll come back to that one in a minute. Let's do that one at the end.
Right, okay. City or United?
City.
Spotify or vinyl?
Vinyl.
Okay. Noel or Liam?
So if you ask me who I'd like to go out on holiday with, I'd probably say Liam. If you ask me who I'd like to spend a night in a pub chatting to, probably Noel.
Brilliantly diplomatic answer there, Clint. That was
I've got to be
well done, mate.
I can't say. If I say one or the other, it could go viral, couldn't it? And coming from me, I can't take part in that because they're both my mates, and you know I've got ultimate respect for both of them.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how different they are. You know, it's like it's just you could sit and talk all night and day with Noel about a variety of subjects. But if you just want to go out and have a right good piss up and a laugh, and Liam, you know, I mean, Liam's is a really warm, sensitive soul, you know what I mean? And quite gentle underneath it all, you know. I'm one of them that hopes that one day we'll see them back on stage together.
I'll be honest, Clint, I think 30 years since definitely maybe next year. I think that could be the catalyst. I'm hoping anyway, fingers crossed. I was at Nebworth back in the day, so yeah, I'm crossing everything for that, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It'd be nice to see them back together. It'd be nice to see them back together as brothers, wouldn't it, initially? And then.
Okay, on that note, Clint Boon, thanks so much for coming on, mate. I really appreciate your time.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And we're going to see you at some of these gigs. Are we going to get down to any gigs? Is it the Perth one?
Yeah, so I'll be, I think the second night, I think I'll be at the 29th. That's the one I'm coming to.
Right.
So yeah, I'll see you there, mate. Yeah, definitely.
Try and come back and say hi to us. If you can get backstage, that'd be great.
All right, yeah, no worries. Will do, mate. That was the Mixtape podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to jump up to the top of the page and smash that follow button, and you'll be notified every time there's a new episode. Or follow me on Instagram at the Mixtape Perth. Till the next time.